We finally made it to the month of October, which also means that we're going to be naming the winner of the 2024 Ballon d'Or in this very month. Now, obviously, at this point in time, we have narrowed down the potential winners to at least 2 or 3 people. But I could argue that this year has been one of the more difficult to predict the winner from start to finish. For almost 2 decades now, it was pretty easy to predict who was going to win the Ballon d'Or, seeing that 2 of the best players of all time were always in contention for it, being Messi and Ronaldo, obviously. And in that one season when Benzema won the Ballon d'Or, it was also very predictable to see that he was going to win the Ballon d'Or in that year, seeing that he was really performing at the top of his game at the time. But now seeing that those 2 penalty merchants are out of the limelight now, more players can just come out and have amazing seasons and be in contention to win the Ballon d'Or, and I think this year is one of those seasons. So in this video, I just want to discuss, the unpredictability of the Ballon d'Or in this year. I want to predict the winner and also just discuss the nominees and maybe the other awards being given on that night. So strap in if you're new around here and subscribe to the channel, like the video, and let's get into it immediately. Now, before we go on and look at the Ballon d'Or nominees, I just want to outline what you need to have to become a Ballon d'Or winner. And basically, that is, well, there's no criteria actually. Just be a good player, I think. And also play for Barca and Real Madrid. I think that really helps too. But I don't think this year falls more into the realm of a popularity contest. I just think it falls more into recency bias. Because we could look at the start of the 23-24 season. I think at the start, we could have said that Harry Kane was definitely going to win the Ballon d'Or, seeing how frequent he was scoring at Bayern Munich at the time. And then we move a bit into mid-season, where we had Jude Bellingham also in his first season at Real Madrid just taking center stage and scoring in El Clásicos and all of that. Scoring in the Champions League as well, and being one of Real Madrid's top goal scorers in that season. And then towards the end of the season, we saw Vinicius take center stage, scoring in the semi-finals. I think that was against Bayern Munich, if I remember correctly. And also scoring in the Champions League final. And it looked like Vinicius was going to be the winner of the Ballon d'Or. And then the Euros also came into play, where Rodri then took center stage and led Spain to winning the Euros. And then led to him also being one of the nominees of the Ballon d'Or. And I think that's what it's going to fall into it, the recency bias. I don't think Jude Bellingham is going to be the one to win it, or Harry Kane. But I think it's going to be either Vinicius Jr. or Rodri. And that's not to say that they didn't really have incredible seasons. I think Rodri only lost 1 whole game that season, and also went on to win the Euros and the Premier League, while Vinicius also scored in very important games, winning La Liga and also winning the Champions League. So these 2 are very worthy winners of winning the Ballon d'Or in this year. I just think that more recency bias does go into it. So if I had to say who's going to win the Ballon d'Or, I think it's gonna be... Psych! You know what? I'm just gonna leave it until the end of the video. You guys are waiting for my opinion anyways, and it's the one that matters the most, so yeah, that's why you guys are here anyways. So for now, we'll just look at the nominees. Now, when I look at this 30-man list, I don't see anything really controversial as like the other years. Hold on, bruh. Hold on. Garnacho? Oh, no, okay, never mind. My bad. Okay, my bad. It's Grimaldo. my bad. I thought it was Garnacho, because that would have been controversial. But back to what I was saying, I don't think there was anything controversial in this 30-man list. I just want to talk about a few players in this list, showing that they were really good in that season, but I don't think good enough to win the Ballon d'Or. We can look at Erling Haaland, for example, who really had a season that went under the radar. I'm looking at his stats right now, and he had 38 goals and 5 assists from the previous season, and also winning the Premier League in the process. Again, pretty much a drop-off from the season that he had before that, but then again, anyone would love to have a season like this, and that's just a drop-off for Erling Haaland. And I think with him, it's just a case of being unlucky, seeing that in 2023 he could have won the Ballon d'Or, but the whole World Cup thing happened, and then this year also could have won the Ballon d'Or too. I think there are a few more candidates ahead of him in this conversation, hence he's still going to wait for another chance at the Ballon d'Or, but definitely I think before he does retire, he will have maybe a couple Ballon d'Ors in his locker. Another man who impressed me the most this season, I think, is Cole Palmer. I think I already spoke about him in my England video that I don't think you should go back and watch because there's no use of doing it. I mean, the Euros is over already. But anyways, I was one of his doubters when he did sign. I think he signed for a really big price, I think around 40 million. And to put in consideration, didn't have any like first team experience, only playing a few games under Pep. And signing for 40 million was going to come with a lot of expectations. But eventually he proved everyone wrong and became the star player at Chelsea, finishing with 20 goals in the Premier League also, which is impressive for your first proper season as a professional. And in all competitions, he had 27 goals and 15 assists. That is incredible, and not a lot of people would have predicted him to be at the Euros, scoring in the final, as well as being a nominee for the Ballon d'Or. this early. I think if Chelsea really had a better season and added a bit of accolades to his season, I think he would have been a serious contender for the Ballon d'Or in this year. But then again, I think he's still a bit far off. I don't think he finishes top 10. He could, but I don't think he finishes top 10. But then again, incredible season from him, and I think he's going to take center stage for about maybe 5 more seasons with Chelsea. Now, I also want to talk about Toni Cruz in this one. I'm not saying that he was not supposed to be nominated for the Ballon d'Or. The reason why I want to speak about him is that during the Euros, and this is also backing up my statement about the recency bias thing, a lot of people were saying that Toni Cruz should win the Ballon d'Or after he announced his retirement from the sport. A lot of people were calling for him to win the Ballon d'Or, which was kind of weird, and not saying that he's a bad player. I think he did have an incredible season with Real Madrid anyways, and also, you know, taking center stage, controlling that midfield, and because currently Real Madrid look like a shadow of their old selves without Toni Cruz, which does show how important he was to that team. And of course, he won La Liga and the Champions League, and also did kind of go far with Germany at the Euros, but I don't think it's anything to warrant winning the Ballon d'Or. And that's me not saying that Toni Cruz doesn't deserve to be nominated. He does deserve to get nominated, but not to win the Ballon d'Or in my opinion. Another player who had a small shout at winning the Ballon d'Or if things went well was Florian Voss, who went unbeaten for almost all season until the final of the Europa League. And think about it, bruh. These guys went unbeaten for the whole Bundesliga season. I think this is the first time it's ever happened. And also knowing that how frequent Bayern Munich have won the Bundesliga, and to not have accomplished this shows how special that season was for Bayer Leverkusen. And Florian Wirtz being the one center stage in that team was incredible, having about 18 goals and 20 assists in that season alone in all competitions. I just want to reiterate that these guys lost one whole game that season, and that was the Europa League final against Atalanta, where they really did play bad, I think. But then again, Florian Wirtz did have an incredible season and also did play well with Germany, but I don't think it would have been enough for him to win the Ballon d'Or anyways. I think if he ever gets that big move, he will be in serious contention to one day win the Ballon d'Or, but it's not going to be now. Now, I want to talk about Adamo Kalu for a second, because a lot of people did say that he didn't deserve to get nominated, seeing that he only scored a hat-trick in the Europa League final, and then immediately gets put in this, Ballon d'Or nominees list. I'm going to come at his defense here, and I think that he's been good throughout the season. Firstly, helping Atalanta finish 4th in the Serie A, qualifying them for the Champions League, and even if they didn't finish 4th, they were going to qualify anyways after winning the Europa League. Also racking up 17 goals and 10 assists in all competitions. But the reason that I want to justify his inclusion in this thing is his performances at AFCON. I watched most of his games for Nigeria, and he really performed really well, also making the AFCON final. I think in times where people thought Osimhen would be the main man, I think Lookman stepped up and was the main man for Nigeria, and that, in my opinion, warrants him a place in the Ballon d'Or nominees list. Then also we have the Yashin Trophy, with not a lot of standout potential winners in this one. Of course, we have my countrymate and captain Rondon Williams in this one, being the first African to be nominated for this trophy. He had an amazing season with Mamelodi Sundowns and also had an incredible tournament at the AFCON. I was really surprised to see him in this list, but it is really justified seeing that he is the best goalkeeper in Africa currently. But there were other goalkeepers who did have good seasons, like Jan Sommer or Gregor Kobel, but I think the winner might be Andre Lunin, who won the Champions League and La Liga with Real Madrid, and also filling in for Courtois when he had the ACL injury. So I think it might be him, but then again, I'm not sure. Then we also have the Copa Trophy, and I'm not even going to discuss this. We all know who's going to win it. It's Lamine Yamal. He had an amazing debut season for FC Barcelona, and also even making the Euro squad. Remember, at 16, he made the Euro squad. He is arguably one of the best players in the world and might even be the best right winger in the world currently. And I think this award just should be given to him. We shouldn't even talk about the other nominees, okay? It's his award, and let's just move on from it. On to the other awards, one being the Women's Ballon d'Or that's also going to be given on that night. If I'm being honest, I'm not really as tapped into the women's football, but I know that Bonmati is one of the best players in the world currently in the women's game, and I'm going to predict her to win the Ballon d'Or. This might be her second one if she does win it. Now, Sakina Kashawi didn't get nominated for the Ballon d'Or, but she was nominated for My Hand in Marriage, okay? That's how it works on this channel. Now, let me tell you. And of course, finally, we have the Ballon d'Or winner. I think it's going to be Vinicius. Then again, it was a tough decision because Rodri also had a really incredible season. I think is really important to City, and recently got an ACL injury, and that's really gonna hurt City in the long run. That shows how really important Rodri has been to Manchester City over the few years. But I think Vinicius has also been incredible for Real Madrid, and I do think that he's going to be the eventual winner of the Ballon d'Or in 2024. Right, so we made it to the end of the video. Who's going to win the Ballon d'Or? The comment section is always open down below. And if you're new around here, please make sure to subscribe to the channel. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I guarantee to you, you're going to enjoy the channel as a whole. But for now, it's been me, Tintin Alpha, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.